1. Bowl cut and chicken lips. June 6th, 1983. Corin. Summer truly starts the minute you can no longer see your parents waving goodbye. I wave longer than anyone else. A dark thought runs through my mind. This is the last time I'll see them together. They're standing there with these big, lying smiles. I can see the white of their teeth from 100 yards away, like everything is fine, better than fine. It's not. It's not fine. We used to go to Grandpa's farm in the summer. Back then, we'd wave and wave goodbye, long past the time the old house became a bird-sized speck on the horizon. Now, I'm going to camp, and my parents think I don't know it's because they're getting divorced. I wave because I have to, but I don't miss them. I'm not going to miss them either. They don't deserve it. Elliot, on the other hand, I'll miss. The night before we left, I even gave him a kiss. It wasn't our first, but it was the longest and saddest one we've shared. I felt tears pop up in my eyes as I kissed him, and believe me, I'm not the kind of girl who cries easily. My friend Joy from school will cry if she forgets her homework or gets a B on a spelling test. I didn't cry even when I wiped out and sprained both my wrists. Plus, I always get A's on spelling tests. Consistent. C-O-N-S-I-S-T-E-N-T. Consistent. But 9 weeks away from Elliot, that's worse than 1,000,000 sprained wrists. That's like spraining both my wrists and both my ankles and splitting my head open on a rock. Oh, I'm gonna miss him so much. So, the night before camp, I bent down and leaned in and kissed him. Right on the handlebars. I can't believe they won't let me bring my bike to camp. Why can't you bring a bike to camp? Elliot doesn't take up much room. He can sleep in the corner, or he can have the sleeping bag and I'll sleep in the corner. Alas, no. I'll be out here for 9 weeks without him. I hope I don't forget how to ride. Elliot really is a beautiful bike. He's matte black and bright gold with 20-inch mag wheels, racing tires, and a slick silver stripe down the side. It's a BMX racing bike, just like you see Danny Stark riding in all the magazines. He's been the world BMX champion for 3 years running now, although his 1981 win was controversial. All I'm saying is, if a quad reverse bunny hop over the finish line is wrong, I don't want to be right. I literally had to beg on hands and knees for Elliot. Hands and knees. Mom and Dad were not cool at all about it. Not cool at all. It was like they were trying to outdo each other with who could be more uncool. I'd have to say that particular contest ended in a tie. It's too dangerous, they said. Too expensive. They had 1,000,000 reasons. What they really meant is that it's not for girls. They're wrong. But I finally got Elliot. Note to self, was Elliot a divorce guilt present? And now I have to leave him for a whole summer. He couldn't even ride all the way to camp with me. All the kids going to Camp Sweetwater got dropped off at the rest stop parking lot. We stood around trying to look cool while we waited for the camp transport to roll in. It was wall-to-wall kids and parents and weepy goodbyes, so there was no cool. There were little baby primary kids, and in-between kids like me, and teenagers, like that guy with the almost mustache. I don't know who he's kidding. It's going to take him 50 years to turn that thing into a Tom Selleck. 5 buses, badly painted white and squeaking like no tomorrow, trundled into the parking lot. Somebody had stenciled Camp Sweetwater on the sides in red. The paint had run, leaving the words dripping down the sides like blood. I tried to point this out to my parents, but they were too busy making sure I had plenty of underwear and suntan lotion and pretending to be totally, completely, absolutely not about to break up our home. Well, whatever happens, at least I'll have custody of Elliot. Counselors poured off the buses and sorted us by grade. After granting us one last farewell, they herded us into our sketchy rides in grade order. The lineup is simple. 2 buses, each of little kids and middles, and 1 for the teens. When I jump into my seat, it pukes up crumbly, gritty foam. Awesome. The road to camp twists its way through the trees, and it feels too narrow for the bus. The bus bounces and rattles and shakes like we're driving over the surface of the moon. What kind of shocks are on this thing? The noise shakes up the swarm of butterflies in my stomach. I don't know anybody here, and I don't think anyone else does either. It's weirdly quiet. Not like going to school, where people trade seats and lean over to talk and throw stuff when the driver's not looking. Here, we mostly stare at each other, then look away real fast. A couple kids seem like they're just barely holding back tears. There's a girl with a huge cliff of bangs towering over her forehead, a style my dad calls case of hairspray. She's scribbling furiously on some stationery. Is she writing a letter to the people she just saw 20 minutes ago? There's a boy with dark hair and dark eyes and a big smile, nose in a book, reading intently like there is going to be a test. Is there going to be a test? I try to sneak a glance at the cover, but get interrupted. A very tall, teenage girl, one of the counselors, judging by the name tag on her Cure t-shirt, hops up and starts shouting at us from the front of the bus. She has a megaphone, like a cheerleader would use. "Right then," she says in a heavy British accent. She sounds like a lady in a James Bond movie. I figure she's doing a funny voice, so I shout back, "Right!" in my own British accent. Unfortunately, I'm the only one who does. My cheeks burn a little. Whatever. She continues. "My name is Mary, innit? And some of you lot are lucky enough to have me as your counselor for the next 9 weeks. I know I look like a sweetheart." Okay, not doing an accent. Actually British. Got it. Here she pauses and blinks her big, blue, mascaraed eyelashes at us. "I'm a counselor. I'm not your mum, and I'm not here to wipe your bum." The kid with the book laughs loudly, but no one else does. This Mary is a little scary. Scary Mary. "Which one of you lot is Corin?" she asks. Now I really feel my cheeks burn. I raise my hand and feel the eyes of all the campers lock on to me. "That'd be me," I say. "Take better care of your things, Corin," she says. "These fell out of your sack when you were getting on the bus." She holds up a pair of underwear. My underwear. The ones with blue bunnies on them. The ones my mom had written Corin Quinn on with permanent marker across the elastic. Great. Now she's trying to ruin my life 2 different ways. Scary Mary fires the undies at me like a kid shooting rubber bands in math class. They land in the next seat, right in the lap of the kid with the book. He hands them to me like it's no big deal, like he's just passing a stack of papers back in class. "My mom writes my name in my underwear, too," he says with a shrug. Then the goober introduces himself. "I'm Tez. Tez Jones." "I'm Corin," I say, feeling like my throat is on fire. But you already knew that.
Tez. Everything at Camp Sweetwater is chaos. Or it could be entropy. It's hard to say which because I haven't been here long enough to know what the natural state is. Whichever it is, my current state is somewhat unnatural. I currently know exactly one person, and that's Corin from the bus. We had an actual conversation, a good portent for this summer. Unfortunately, other portents are more negative. Mary, the British counselor, has replicated. Gavin, who is Mary in male form, drags us middle boys to one side of the flagpole. I can only hope they won't spawn any further. There are knots of kids scattered all over the front drive. Tall trees surround the gravel roads and paths at the entrance. Near the director's lodge, there's a paved parking lot, but it's overgrown with low, heavy bushes and scrubby trees. Counselors and camp directors and other official-looking people group us by age, then by camp, then by cabin. With each separation, I try to wave at Corin, but she's studying the sky. There's nothing up there but alto cumulus clouds. White, fluffy ones, well-spaced. If she's trying to tell the weather, it's a waste of time. Alto cumulus clouds just mean pleasantness, although it might also have rained yesterday. It would be nice if we were in the same group. I could tell her all about clouds and precipitation. However, the chances of that seem to be dwindling. From what I can tell from the camper's guidebook, there should be about 150 of us here, give or take. It seems like way more as we swelter under the sun on the lawn, but as we get separated into smaller units, the numbers make sense. 8 cabins per camp, 4 people per cabin, plus the baby camp. Yep, the numbers make sense. Lake Sweetwater sits smack in the middle of everything, vaguely horseshoe-shaped. The littlest kids go into the Bantam camp, right off the big path. It's closest to the main buildings, like the Great Hall and the rec barn and the infirmary. The seniors, the high school kids, drift toward the paths to the east. That leaves all the rest of us to head to junior camp, along the west side of the lake. "Hopkins, Johnson, Jones, Quan," Gavin yells. His voice breaks, and a lot of people giggle. I feel kind of bad for him, but I pretend to giggle anyway. That way, I look like everybody else. That is paramount. I just want to be a regular kid this summer. 100% normal. No poor Tez, or watch out for Tez, or it's what makes you special, Tez. That last one, honestly, is the absolute worst. The 4 of us shuffle with our bags again and find ourselves in a cluster. Just us. "Oak Camp," Gavin growls, getting his voice as low as possible after that squeak. "Cabin Group A." According to the camp map, that puts us the farthest away from everything. We're tucked at the upper northwest end of the lake. Past our cabins is nothing but primal forest. That could be cool or terrifying, depending. Cool, I decide. It's going to be cool. But it would be cooler with a friend. "All right, you little mingers," Gavin says, waving his clipboard at us. "I'm your counselor. When I call your name, I'd advise you speak up. Anyone left behind spends the summer in the woods with the wolves." I raise my hand. There are no wolves left in Ohio. They were hunted to extinction in the early 1800s, along with the bobcats. There are coyotes and foxes, but they're afraid of people. From the look on Gavin's face, he is definitely thrilled to have all the facts. He approaches me. "What's your name?" Just to be on the safe side, I lean over his clipboard before he can try to read my full name out loud and point to it. "I'm Tez. Tez Jones." "Right," Gavin says. "From here on out, you're Chicken Lips." I start to say that chickens don't have lips, but Gavin palms my entire face. His hand smells like sweat, and his fingers are really hot. Since this probably means shut up, I do. Moving on, Gavin calls out Chun Quan. He takes one look at him and says, "Nostrils!" completely baffling. Chun's nose is about as ordinary as a nose can get. This doesn't matter to Gavin. He keeps going. Next on the list is Graham Hopkiss. Gavin dubs him Bowlcut. It's an extremely fair name. He has an awesome bowl cut. It's shiny auburn and geometrically precise. Nostrils has soft black feathers like Rob Lowe, and the other kid has a tight, boxy fade. This whole cabin has great hair, if you ask me. Ryan Johnson, Gavin says, and doesn't even look up. Warily, Ryan raises his hand. Gavin looks him over, then rolls his eyes. I'm calling you Knees. Look at you, just standing there with your knees. Everyone has knees, Ryan points out. Shut it, Knees, Gavin says, or I'll change it to something else that everyone's got. Nostrils and Bowlcut snicker. Clearly, they've thought of something else Gavin could call Knees. I wonder if it's appendix. Or pancreas. Pancreas would be hilarious. Gavin's not interested in hilarious. So, like I said, you're Oak Camp, Cabin Group A. No tradesies, no takesy-backsies, no transfers. Learn it, love it, get used to it. As we trade incredulous looks, Gavin barks out rules, which is unnecessary. We all have the camper's guidebook. Also, the rules are pretty simple. We eat with our cabin group. We have activities with our cabin group. You shower with your cabin group, Gavin bellows. Staggering into Bowlcut, Nostrils laughs. Our cabin group? Oh, wow, man, we're showering with the girls. You're gob, Gavin says. Shut it! Nostrils and Bowlcut snicker behind their hands. This counts as shut gobs, apparently, because Gavin goes on. So, right then. No phone calls home. Payphone doesn't work. You can buy stamps at the camp store. Moving on. Every bloody cabin's collecting beads. Brilliant pants. Earn a bead. Act like a tosser. Lose a bead. Spend them up at the end of camp for color war advantages. Clear? We all nod to agree that we're clear, but I look to Nostrils and Knees. We're definitely not clear. From context clues, it sounds like beads are extremely important. Possibly they're even a disciplinary tool. I'm sure this will clarify itself. I make a mental note to watch for additional bead context. As Gavin continues, the rest of his instructions get closer to American English. Swimming test before we can swim, no boats without supervision, sign-outs for equipment, etc., etc. I know there are going to be special restrictions for me, but I'm not going to worry about that. I always have extra rules. I just need to make sure no one else knows about them. Restless, I start to bend at the knees. I'm wobbly and rubbery under the hot sun and the dull tirade. Looking around, I know I'm not the only one. Oak Camp Cabin Group A is not paying attention, but we are listening. To Gavin's accent. Bowlcut is already trying to imitate it. I'm going to wait until I have a better sample size. I try to focus on Gavin's words, like keenly focus, with all my attention. I keep getting distracted, though, because he sounds like the bad guys in every movie ever. Also, he kinda acts like one. After he threatens us a couple more times, he tells us to pick up our gear. We're hiking to Cabin Group A, and we'd better stick to the path, or get eaten by wolves. Gavin seems really dedicated to the idea of wolves, so I'm going to let that one go. Hefting my bag, I take one last look at Corin. She crosses her eyes at me, so I pretend to stick a finger up my nose. We both smile at the same time. I mouth to her, Group A? Her smile fades, and she mouths back, Group C, sorry. So much for a first friend on the first day.